I used to watch the news every day. I would look at my phone to see the overnight headlines of what was going on in the world. I would get a morning paper way back in the day as well too. I watched it on TV as I would drive my car. I had the news cycle on. An office that I worked at, the news was on the entire time when I was working. So I was surrounded by news, and I started to over time to notice something. Started to notice how I felt after I consumed this news. For years, I was on autopilot and really never made the connection between the two. But once I started to notice how I felt, as they say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So this video, it's not about politics. It's not about left versus right. It's not about the neighbor next door to you that votes differently than you do. Really, it's just an invitation to explore how you feel in your body when you consume news, and to just tap into those feelings and being aware that you are 100% conscious and get to choose what you bring into your life. Hello, and so my name is Krista, and welcome to this video. I guide and support women to really hear their intuition. It's always been there, to hear what their intuition is saying, to trust what it's saying, and then to act on their intuition so they can make empowered and aligned decisions that are best for them, moving forward in a big way that feel really true to them. That's who I love to help. All right, so let's talk about the news. And really for me, it was the feeling that came first. That was really the first thing I noticed. And I think I was on autopilot for years, decades. I never really questioned it before. And once I started to question how I felt, it was eye-opening. I would feel agitated. I would feel stressed. I would feel anxious. I would feel pretty much helpless and sad sometimes, just being aware of everything that was going on in the world and how I felt afterwards. And I never really questioned this before. And I think most of us probably just kind of going on this autopilot too. We might be thinking it, but we've never really examined it before. And I just didn't like the way I felt afterwards. And that was really the wake-up call that I needed to have too, that how I'm feeling in my body is a direct response to what I'm consuming. And so that was really the first eye-opening awareness that I had. And then over time, I would say that I started to see something else too. And what I started seeing was there was a constant theme always going on in the background. And that was fear. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of division. There was a lot of separation and, us against them and pointing fingers. And there was a lot of that. And when you have a lot of fear in your life, you cannot act in an empowered, enlightened way at all too. And I started to question this even a little deeper. So what would be the intent of having myself and everybody else in this fearful state? And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but having people that are terrified all the time and maybe paralyzed to do anything about that, they're going to show up differently in the world. And again, it's not like I am unaware of what is going on in the world. Even though I've turned off the news, I am still aware of what is going on. But I started to see this fear, and let's be honest, fear sells. Fear keeps you coming back for more. Fear will want you to check in with whatever news agency you're listening to and see if this issue has been resolved from yesterday. But when you do that, there's a new thing today, and then you'll be following up, and it's just this perpetual doom scrolling and doom of life as well too. And so I started to see okay, why is this happening? And I think most news media would agree. You get more clicks, you get more attention, you sell more. It's a business model, right? So once I started to see that, it it was unhard. It was, you can't unsee it at that point. So that was something else I started to notice. And really what changed for me was I opted out. I chose not to participate with the daily news cycle. I listen to music now when I'm in my car. TV got shut off years ago. I don't look at headlines on my phone anymore. I don't read the paper that way, and I don't want to sound like I'm callous or I don't know what's going on in the world. I do. However, I'm not tethered to the news, and there's a big difference to that. You still hear what's going on. I will go for a walk sometimes and a couple will pass me by and they'll be talking about something that will be going on in the world. Even if I go to my local bank, there's a TV with a 24 news cycle kind of there, and you catch a glimpse of it, you see some headline, it's there. You go amongst friends, there's always something going on. So it's not like I'm unaware and don't know what's going on to the world, but I'm not choosing to engage with it consciously. I'm not looking for it. I'm not tethered to it. I'm not consumed by it. And I do this because this is how I want to feel. I want to feel more peace in my life. I want to feel calm. I want to feel just like I can show up and be happy in my life and just be a little bit more aware and not fearful or agitated or stressed or thinking everybody else is awful and I've got it all figured out, because that's not the case either. So really, that's what I noticed as well too. And I also started to see that what I was being portrayed, what I was seeing being portrayed on the news was not actually what my perspective in my life was. I would go out and go for walks and I would see people sitting in coffee shops, laughing and connecting with each other. I would see people helping one another, helping their neighbor deliver something if they needed, a delivery, supporting each other, really kind of being there for each other. So all this separation and fear and corruptness and how all this division that I was hearing constantly, I was not experiencing that in my personal perspective. And that was something that was quite noticeable too. So again, we get to choose what we consume. And I'm not saying stop the news. That's obviously, it's your choice. It's your choice what you decide to consume. But I just want you to be aware of that. But you also have to be aware that every news cycle agency, wherever it's coming from, there's a specific tone, emotions that they're trying to elicit in their news, and it's going to have an angle of some sort or another. That's really the intention. So it's just being mindful of what you're consuming, how you're consuming it. Be aware of how you're feeling. If you're someone who's very anxious and stressed and that consuming the news every day might be a way just to calm your nervous system a little bit more and to have a little bit more calm, a little bit more peace in your life. And it really is just choosing to opt out of it. You can still be a good citizen and not have to have that 24/7 or have it first thing in the morning, the end of the day. It just take back that time, take back that agency that you have with yourself, and choose to consume mindfully and what makes you feel good. That's what's working for me. All right. There's a lot of noise in the world, excuse me, as we have probably seen. There's a lot of division, there's a lot of separation, and just being able to shut that out gives you a vast different perspective, and it's something that I think is worth considering. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. You have the power, you have the control to choose what comes into your life. And once you do this, you may notice a huge shift in your perspective too, and a big difference in how you feel. And that's really what I would love for you to, just to have more peace, have more calm, be more conscious and aware of your surroundings and how you feel, and take ownership of that. And again, we have that control within ourselves. All right. So I will end this video today, and I wish you all a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.